All right. What's up, YouTube? We're live again. Thirsty Thursdays. We're back. Let's get it, y'all. I'm super excited for this Thursday. This is our third Thirsty Thursdays. We've been super consistent with it, and today we'll be talking about the 10 Commandments of building wealth, y'all. The 10 Commandments of building wealth. So, like, when we hear about commandments, we think about all these things that we have to do, things that are like a goal and something that is exact. It's our plan. It's our way of living. It's our way of doing something, right? So the 10 Commandments of building wealth is some things that we abide by and some rules that we follow when it comes to building wealth. Because wealth isn't something that just happens overnight, right? Wealth accumulates. Wealth is time. Wealth is something that happens over time. We don't just make $1 million and say we're wealthy, right? Wealth is measured in time. So we're gonna tap into all this tonight. Let's get it, YouTube. We live and what's up? Right? So, our first commandment of building wealth, right, is pay yourself first. Right? When it comes to paying yourself, when you think about it, what's the first thing you do when you get money? Right? You want to ask yourself that. What is the first thing you do when you get money? Right? Do you go spend it? Do you say, let me save it? Do you go pay your rent? Like, what is the first thing you do with money? Most of the time, the first thing we do with money is to go spend it on something. But we never spend it on the most important thing, which is ourselves, right? When we first get when we first get paid, we like, let me go pay my rent. When we first get paid, we like, let me go to the store and buy something. When we first get paid, you like, let me pay this person back. When you first get paid, the first person who needs to get paid is yourself. You need to say, okay, I got paid $1,000 in my check. 10% of that is gonna go to me. Pay yourself. You're paying yourself because you're the priority. You gotta invest into yourself. When you pay yourself, you're paying yourself for something in the future, right? You're paying yourself to add value to yourself. No matter if that money's gonna go towards a course, that money's gonna go towards your savings for an investment property. That money's gonna go towards something that adds value to you and creates generational wealth for you, right? So now the next commandment of wealth, right? So we have pay yourself first is one. Number two is live below your means, y'all. Live below your means. What does it mean to live below your means? All right, so when you're living above your means, that means let's take the scenario. Let's do this, right? So let's say I get paid $50,000 a year, right? And I'm get paid $50,000, but I'm spending $65,000. So that means I'm spending $15,000 more than what I have. Let's say my check is $500 a month, but I'm spending $600 a month. Let's say I get paid $200 every 3 days, but I just bought some shoes for $200. Right? So I'm living above my means, meaning that I'm spending more than what I'm earning. Now, what does it mean to live within your means? When you're living within your means, that basically means that, let's say I'm making $50,000 a year, but I'm spending $50,000 a year. So I'm living within my means, right? I'm not spending too much, but I'm not also spending a little bit to where I have a chance to build wealth, right? So now, where does that leave us? Living below your means, meaning that if I'm making $50,000 a year, I'm spending less than $50,000 a year. I'm spending less money on liability. I'm spending more money on assets, things that are producing money in the future, things that can grow in the future, things that can add value to me in the future, right? So this is the type of things that we have to think of. We can live above, within, or below our means. Wealthy people live below their means because they're not focused on the now. They're focused on the future, right? So you want to live below your means, y'all. And then the next commandment of building wealth. So we have the first commandment, pay yourself first. Second commandment, live below your means. Now your third commandment, and wait, let me also say about living below your means, right? Just because, let's say, you start building wealth, you start making a lot of money, that doesn't mean that you have to spend more money. And to be completely transparent with you guys, that's a problem that I had. And currently still have sometimes. That sometimes the more you make, sometimes you feel like the more you spend. You have to learn to adjust your spending habits to the amount of money that you make. Just because you make more money doesn't mean that your lifestyle has to increase. Just because I make more money doesn't mean that I have to spend more money. I could spend the same amount of money that I was using before this spending more money, y'all. Right? So living below your means. Just because you get paid more doesn't mean you have to spend more. So now the third commandment of building wealth, y'all, is if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. Said by Jay-Z, my favorite rapper, better than your favorite rapper, right? If you can't buy it twice, you cannot afford it, y'all. So what does this mean? Let's say that I'm trying to buy something and I'm trying to buy some shoes. I have $200 in my account. The shoes cost $200. Can I afford the shoes? That means I'm going broke for that one purchase. That one purchase is going to take everything in my account. Right? So if you can't buy it twice, you cannot afford it, y'all. Right? So we got pay yourself first, live below your means, and if you can't buy it twice, you cannot afford it. Next, we have relationships. Right? The next commandment of building wealth is that relationships is worth more than money. Some of us are killing and burning bridges just for money, just for a couple of dollars, right? So it's really important that we're learning that relationships are worth way more than money. Don't burn any bridges. Don't do wrong by people just because of a couple of dollars. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Why? Because you never know when you may need that person, or you may need who that person knows, or you never know if you do wrong by somebody, karma's gonna come around, or you never know if somebody's like, nah, don't mess with Aaliyah, man. She doing boom, 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 right? Relationships are worth way more than money. Don't do wrong by people just for a couple of dollars. Relationships can't come back. Money can always come back. Money is not the world, right? So next, wealth is measured by time. So what does this mean? Let's say I make $1 million, right? So if I make $1 million, but I spend $100,000 a month, that means my wealth is only 10 months. That means that $1 million is only going to be able to last me 10 months. Wealth is measured in time. How much money can you hold on to over time? How much money do you have growing over time? How long does your money last? Not how much money do I have and spend. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep, but it's not just about how much you keep, it's about how much you're able to grow. Right? Because you could keep money, it's going to lose value over time due to inflation. Right? So we got the 5 first commandments of building wealth. So 1, we got pay yourself first. 2, we have live below your means. 3, we have if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. 4, we have relationships are worth more than money. And 5, we have wealth is measured in time. Right? So these are things that we have to just start thinking about subconsciously as we're going through our day, as we're using our money, as we're spending money. You just start thinking about these things and implement it to your daily life and creating habits. Once you create your habits around these commandments, you'll start seeing better results with your money. Next, we have, if you do not invest your money, you cannot build wealth. Now, this is one of the most important ones because a lot of the time, growing up, we hear what? We hear our parents saying, save, 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 save. Do this, do this, do this, do this. But we never hear, just invest your money. Or if we do hear invest your money, we're like, how does it work? What do we invest our money in? Why do I invest my money? Right? We want to hold on to our money. We feel like if I work too hard for this money just to let it go. I work too hard to take this risk with the potential of my money losing value. But I hate to break it to you, your money losing value regardless. If you put your money in your bank, it's losing value. You have something called inflation. What happens with inflation, that means that your purchasing power decreases. That's why when gas prices increase, you can't get the same amount of gas for $20 that you were able to get a year ago. You can't go to the grocery store and get the same amount of groceries you were able to get a year ago because prices are inflated. Prices have increased and your purchasing power has decreased. So that means that if I had $100,000 sitting in the bank last year, it's not worth the same $100,000 this year. Your money is losing value every single day. $1 not earning is $1 losing. So you want to make sure that you're investing your money because you now have a potential to grow your money. So you can invest your money into real estate. You can invest your money into yourself, right? Because the best investment is always yourself, right? Learning something, buying a course, something that's going to help you learn a skill set that can make you more money. Investing your money into the stock market. Investing your money into assets, things that have potential to grow in the future. things that add value, things that put money in your pocket, not liabilities, things that once you spend your money on it, your money is gone. Your money stops at that. Once you buy a pair of sneakers and you don't resell it, your money stops at the shoes, right? So there's nothing wrong with buying it, but you also want to have a balance where you're buying more assets and less liabilities, y'all. So next, time is more valuable than money, y'all. So let's think about this. Let's paint this image, right? You can't earn your way to wealth. So let's say that I'm working every day. I got 3 jobs, right? The more hours I work, that's not going to make me reach wealth. I have to be doing something with that money. I have to be translating that money into something. I have to be putting that money into something that's going to make my money grow. If I keep my money in just me working, I'm going to just be doing the same thing. Like a what is it called? The animal that runs on it's like a rat race, right? That's all that's happening. We're working, draining ourselves out, losing time, and in the hours that we're working so hard, we can't spend it thinking about anything that's going to make us more money that without working that hard because we're so busy and so focused on just those hours working. And it's no problem working, but it's also you have to understand that you cannot earn your way to wealth. At some point, you need to start making money work for you. If you study every wealthy person, they have money working for them. There's no successful person that you study that you can say does not have some type of money working for them. Time is the number one asset that we all have that we will never get back. The time I just spent saying that, I can't get back. If I spend $1, I can get $1 in the future. So we have to understand that time is way more valuable than money. Some of the time we spend so much time trying to make money when we can't get that time back. We spend so much time being miserable on something when we can't get that time back. Life goes on. We spend so much time focusing on things that happen with our money when we can't get that time back. But we can spend our time focusing on a new way to making money. We can spend our time changing our mindset, right? So it's just learning how to do different things with your time that's going to help you in the future. Learning how to have a positive impact with your time. We can never get the time we spend on something, we can never get it back. That's why time is so important. Because we can never, ever get this time back, ever again. So really start to think and value your time and say, like, is my time worth this? That's why you don't see wealthy people at certain places, right? When I was younger, right, Jay-Z's my favorite rapper. I used to always think to myself, like, I don't see Jay-Z at the Grammys. I don't see Jay-Z at the BET Awards. He's on a different level, a different mindset. When you have different amounts of money, you start thinking differently. When you're exposed to different things, you start thinking differently. You're not concerned with doing what everybody else doing, being where everybody else is, because you're thinking differently. You're focused on different things. He understands the time that he spends being there may distract him from the time that he could be spending doing something else. Right? We have to start noticing things like, why aren't people showing up to places? Why aren't people spending their time with that? Why can't you just hit up any old person and just get their time? Because they understand the value of their time. They understand that they're never going to get that time back. So they're not going to just waste their time doing something that's not beneficial, doing something that's not adding value, doing something that's potentially helping them grow or helping somebody else grow in the future. So if you don't walk away with something, you walk away understanding that time is more valuable than money. Time is the number one asset that every single person on this world has that you'll never get back. We all have potential to make money again. Now, next, you want to stay away from bad debt. Right? So we have something called good debt and we have something called bad debt. So good debt is basically when, okay, I go into debt, spending my money on something that can potentially make me money in the future. So let's talk about that, right? So what's some examples of good debt? Let's say I purchase an investment property and I get a loan. Once you get money lent to you, you're now in debt. However, if I buy a home, let's say it has 3 different units in it, 3 different doors for me to have tenants, I now have 3 different tenants paying me about $2,000 a month. Right? That's $6,000 that I'm making right there a month, developing some type of cash flow. I use that cash flow to now pay off my debt for that person gave me to purchase that home. Right? So that's good debt, meaning that I went into debt purchasing an asset. I went into debt purchasing something that's going to make me money to pay that person back. Versus sometimes we go into debt just buying something that we just got to pay back. Buying something that doesn't add value to us. Buying something that doesn't grow in the future. Let's say I bought a pair of sneakers with my credit card. The shoes are $500, right? Now I have to pay that $500 back out of my pocket. The $500 just stopped. I'm not making money from them shoes. I'm just going to wear them on my feet and do whatever I got to do. Once again, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but how often can you do that before you max out your credit card and don't have the money to pay it off? Now you're in bad debt because you bought something that you cannot make money from. You bought something where you can't afford to pay it back. Right? So you want to stay away from bad debt. Too much bad debt is not good for you. Now think about it. If you're broke, stop hanging out with broke people. Right? Broke mindsets hang around with broke mindsets. I think that's something that I really noticed being in college, right? So as a college student, I'm 19 years old, and I noticed that so sometimes I go around people and they'll be like, yeah, I'm just a poor college student, or I'm a broke college student. You're wishing that on yourself, and then they hang out with a friend or with somebody who be like, yeah, bro, like I don't got no money in my bank account, I'm just a broke college. Like, they keep telling that to themselves. Now all their mind knows is, now I can't afford this, I can't do this, I can't do that. Right? They're limiting their mindset because of just they don't have money in their bank account. Broke is a mindset. And I have this argument with people all the time, and y'all can comment and tell me if y'all agree or disagree with me, but people tell me all the time, like, no, if I'm broke, I'm broke. If I got $0 in my bank account, I'm broke. I think broke is a mindset. Because let's say, let me tell you why broke is a mindset. If you take all the money away from a billionaire, take away all their assets, take away everything that they have, they will find a way to generate that amount of money again. Why? Because of their mindset. Why? Because of the information that they have. Not because of the money that they have, not because of anything, like the resources that they understand that they need, the mindset that they understand that they need to have to get to that level. Once you have that mindset, the money's going to come. We have to start understanding that there's enough money in the world for all of us. However, some of us don't have the mindset to go get it. Some of us are stuck in just one mindset. We're stuck in a box. That's all we know, the box. Just the box we live in, just the way we think. That's why we're stuck in one place. It's insanity. We do the same things over and over again and expect different results. That's not going to happen. You can't continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. If I'm driving a car and I want to go right, but I keep turning the wheel left, I will never go right. That's what some of us are doing with our finances. We keep trying to say, like, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be wealthy, I want to do this, but we still keep practicing the same poor habits. Still keep hanging out with the same people with the same broke mindsets. Change your environment. Go around people or listen to people who have wealthy habits. Let's tune into Financial Revolution. Tune into pages that are teaching you financial literacy. Tune into things and people who are thinking how you're trying to think. Because subconsciously, you're automatically going to start to learn and pick up on their habits. You're going to start to do what they do. You ever hang out with somebody, and the next thing you know, you hang out with them all the time. You start saying the things that they say, speaking their lingo, doing the things that they do. That's because we pick up on people's habits. And it works for positive and it works for negative. If I hang out with people who are always doing negative things, I'm going to pick up on those negative habits. If I hang out with people who are always doing positive things, I'll pick up on those positive habits. Think about it. Why do we feel comfortable cursing around some people versus why do we feel uncomfortable cursing around our parents? The environment that we in, y'all. Right? So it's really important that we pay attention to the environment that we in and the people that we hang out with. If I keep surrounding myself with broke mindsets, I'ma just be the next person with a broke mindset because I'm automatically and subconsciously picking up on their habits. But let me tell y'all a story, right? Because I didn't always have this mindset. I didn't always think the way I think, right? I'm a college student, right? So I used to be saying the same things. However, it took me to get out of my environment to understand, like, okay, like maybe the people I hang out with are thinking a way that's not going to really add value to me, right? So the first step is to come to the realization that, okay, maybe I really do need to change my environment, right? So I started listening to platforms like Earn Your Leisure, started listening to like Wall Street Trapper. I started listening to the Social Proof podcast. So my mindset just started to change. Started listening to Eric Thomas, like all these people. So like if I'm listening to those people every single day for a year straight, there's no way that I'm gonna continue to be the same person. So now I started listening to these people every day, and once I listen to them every day, I'm starting to change my mindset. So now the same conversations that my friends were talking about, I didn't really care to talk about it, cause like it didn't really make sense. It didn't make sense to me anymore. My mindset started changing. I didn't really care about those conversations, right? I didn't really care to talk about like what store we was gonna go shopping anymore. Like it just didn't amuse me anymore. Before, like it used to be like, oh yeah, we gonna go here. Let's go window shop, do this. Like that was what was cool. But now it's just like, I don't really care, right? I used to know every single thing, every new Jordan that was coming out. I used to know every sneaker that was dropping. Like, oh, we about to do this. This about to come out. This about to do that. Like I used to know everything. But now it's just like somebody be like, yo, Yeezys just dropped this. And I'll be like, oh, word? Really? Like, I didn't know that. And it's not to say that there's nothing wrong with that, because some people just really into that. But it wasn't that I was into it. I wasn't into it. It was just that the people I was hanging out with, that's all they talked about. So to fit in, I had to talk about it too. I had to be up on game. But now, like, I don't care to fit in. So because I don't care to fit in, I'm doing my own thing, right? So you got to really pay attention to that environment piece. You realize that you see billionaires hanging out with billionaires, you see millionaires hanging out with millionaires, and you also see millionaires trying to hang out with billionaires because they're trying to get to that next level, right? So that's another important piece, right? When you're trying to get to the next level, you got to hang out with people or listen to people who are at the next level. And if you pay attention to what I'm saying, I'm also mentioning that you got to listen to these people. Oftentimes, like, I'm gonna be vulnerable with you guys, right? So a problem I was running into was that I felt like personally my circle and the people I was hanging out with weren't helping me grow, right? I felt like, I was the best of the worst, right? I'm only good because of the environment that I'm in. Think about it like money. Sometimes you only look rich because of the environment that I'm in. If I'm making 100K, but my friend's making 30,000, of course I'm gonna look like I'm balling. But if I'm making 100K and I go around some millionaires, they're gonna look at me like I'm crazy, right? I'm gonna look like I have to step my game up. So I say that sometimes you have to listen to those people, because as a college student, sometimes it's hard to just automatically wake up one day and find some millionaires to hang out with. Like it's kind of unrealistic. However, what you don't make excuses for yourself. What you do is, I listen to E.T. I listen to Earn Your Leisure. I listen to all these podcasts. I listen to all these people. I study their habits. I look at what they do. I'm listening to how Warren Buffett invests his money. I'm listening to how these real estate people make these deals. Why? Because when I am put in the same rooms as them, when I am next to them, when I am able to talk to them, I know what I'm talking about. I know how to add value. I know what to do. I know what to say. Versus I'm just waiting for my luck, that one opportunity. They not gonna come to you. You gotta go to them. You gotta make your name hot. You gotta continue to add value to yourself, right? So once I came to that realization, and I'm still coming to that realization, right? You just continue to add value to yourself. So you don't wait for anybody, because what's the chances of somebody just picking you? Somebody who's not doing any work, somebody who's not putting the work in. What's the chances of them picking you versus you always adding value to yourself? You always putting your name out there. You always putting your foot in the door, you always showing up to these events, they gonna pick up on you one day. They gonna see who you are one day, right? So make sure you always tapping in with people. Anybody who you want to connect with, learn about them, study them, do what you gotta do. All right. So now, the ninth commandment of building wealth is, the 10th. We're on the 10th one, right? Is invest in assets that will pay for your liabilities, right? So earlier I was telling you guys that it's nothing wrong with getting what you like. Like, I'll be the first one to tell you, I like fly stuff. I like staying at nice places. I like doing nice things, right? I don't want to feel like I can't do something because of money issues. I don't want to feel like I can't stay at the best of the best because of money issues. However, it's a time and a place for everything. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices. When you're building, sometimes you gotta say, I can't do this right now because I'm preparing to do it in the future. Meaning that I'm gonna invest in some assets right now. I'm gonna invest in something that's gonna grow in the future right now, so that in the next few years, it's gonna be able to afford the lifestyle that I want to live. Not just, afford the front of the lifestyle, but actually afford, like, I'm able to, like, comfortably do what I want to do. It's not a stretch for me. It's not a budget for me. Like, I'm comfortably doing the things that I want to do. That got to be your mindset. You got to be able to comfortably do the things that you want to do. It can't be like a here and there type of thing, right? We got to make sacrifices, and it's okay to make sacrifices. It's okay to tell some people no, because some people just won't understand. And you also have to, like, what keeps me going, I'm keeping buck with y'all. What keeps me going, and I promise you this is one of the things that keep me going, is understanding that the people that laugh now and the people who be like, Aaliyah, you don't want to do anything, you never want to go to this party, you never want to do this, just come outside. The people who say that now, what keeps me level-headed and keeps me grounded when I'm saying no and I'm sticking to my no, it's the fact that in a couple of years, I'm going to be good, while they like, oh, wow, Aaliyah really did that. Like, that's what really keeps me level-headed, because sometimes people just won't understand. And it's nobody's place to understand. You got to understand, your goals is not somebody else's goal. You generally have to understand that, because you're going to have a lot of distractions, especially at 19, from the ages of 19 to 25. From when you go to high school, you're going to have a lot of distractions. A lot of people who are not into what you're into. A lot of people who are not as focused as you are. It's all right to, go do your one, two, but also understand, like, you got business to do. And it's okay. It's literally okay. You gotta always know your why. Because when you know your why and you know your reasons behind doing something, and a deep reason behind doing something, you don't care about anything else. It's almost like when your mom tell you, when we were younger, right? When my mom used to tell me, you need to get home, I didn't care about anything else. Because I already knew if I didn't show up at the time I was supposed to show up, it was going to be click. So I didn't care about anything else. It's the same thing, right? When you have that reason, like, I knew, like, if I didn't show up home, if I didn't show up where I needed to show up, if I didn't meet my mom at that time I was supposed to meet her, it was going to be some heat. And I didn't want to deal with that. So we got to treat our life with that same way. Understand that if you don't do what you got to do, if you don't show up for yourself, if you don't be consistent, and if you worried about just saying no, go back and say, like, what happens if you don't do it? What's that reason? You know what I'm saying? Right? So we're going to run through the 10 commandments of building wealth one more time, right? So that we can just get a quick overview. If you're taking notes, write these down, right? So the 10 commandments of building wealth. One, you want to pay yourself first. Oftentimes when we get a check or we make money, the first thing we do is go spend it on something. And we go spend it on something that's outside of our community. They said a black dollar lasts less than 24 hours in the community. We have some other coaches where dollars last almost 30 days. 30 days before it leaves their community. But our dollar, it leaves as soon as we get it. And I'm guilty for that too, because I think about it all the time, right? Like how you get paid and you're like, all right, let me go get something to eat. Most of the time we go get something to eat. It's not a black-owned place. If I'm going to the corner store, most of the time it's not black-owned. If I'm going to a grocery store, most of the time it's not black owned, right? So as soon as we get paid, we're going to spend it on something, which is no problem because we may have obligations, right? We may have things to pay, but don't ever forget to pay yourself first. So create a plan. Say, okay, I'm gonna pay myself 10% every time, or 15%, or half of my check, or whatever. Create that plan and just be consistent with it and continue to do it. Next, live below your means. Live below your means means that if I get paid one amount, I should not be spending more than that. I should be spending less than that and investing the other portion. Living below your means. You don't gotta look like your paycheck. And half of the time, we don't look like our paycheck because our paycheck be bad, but then we look, I'm not even gonna get into that, right? But third one, if you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. If you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. Classic Jay-Z line. Next, we have relationships are worth more than money. So don't go burning relationships for a couple of dollars. Don't go just screwing people over for a couple of dollars. Always put relationships before money. Money you can always get back, but if somebody could have some type of bad info on your name and you just running people over and messing people up, that's don't do that. That's whack, man. Next, wealth is measured by time. So if I'm making $1 million, but I'm spending 100K every month, my wealth is only lasting me 10 months. Right? So how long are you able to uphold your money? How long does your money last? Right? When they be like, yeah, he got that long money or she got that long money, they talking about the timing of that money. Like that is generations. Right? Wealth is measured in time. 6, if you don't invest your money, you cannot build your wealth. You cannot earn your way to wealth. You cannot work. Like, there's no amount of hours that you can work that's gonna make you wealthy. Without you burning yourself out, without you becoming unhealthy, like you can't earn your way to wealth. You have to put your money into something that's helping your money grow, and you have to have your money working for you. 7, time is more valuable than money. Time is the number one asset that we all have that we cannot get back. 8, stay away from bad debt. If I'm investing my money into things that's not going to make me money in the future, that's bad debt, stay away from it. Make sure you pay it off. Don't keep it just sitting and adding interest and you can't pay it off. If you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it, don't buy it with your credit card. 9, if you're broke and if you have a broke mindset, stop hanging out with other people who have another broke mindset. Think about it. Sick people hang out with sick people. Why? Because they want to sit around and talk about their sickness all day. Because they feed off of each other energy. They make each other feel good about it. But realize that none of them become healthy at any point. They just stay sick. 10, invest in assets that will pay for your liabilities. Put your money into things that's going to make money for you. Now use that money to go pay for the things that you want. That's it. That's the 10 commandments of building wealth. It's Aaliyah from Financial Revolution. Thanks for tapping in. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Financial Revolution, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Every Thursdays, make sure you're hopping on Thirsty Thursdays. You don't go to the club by yourself, so don't come to Thirsty Thursdays by yourself. Let's get it, y'all.